Appalachia is a 200,000 square mile region that follows the spine of the Appalachian Mountains, from southern New York all the way to northern Mississippi. The word Appalachia conjures up images of stark contrast. Lush rolling hills teeming with natural beauty, and scarred, barren hillsides, the leftovers of abandoned strip mines. Quaint towns with picturesque homesteads, and small rural communities dotted with trailers and houses in need of repair. Homes that lack such comforts as insulation, working windows, or running water. If the walls of this deserted place could talk, they'd tell a story like many others in the rural Appalachian Mountain region. A family that struggled to make do with bare necessities. The husband working in a coal mine for meager pay. His wife raising goats or chickens to help put food on the table. Their teenage son dropping out of school to work in the mine. Living from day to day in one of Appalachia's remote mining communities was anything but easy.
Well, there was very hard times then. And my dad, he worked in the coal mines, and that was the one thing that a lot of people know, you know. They didn't have no ways of working at anything else. Back then, everything was hard, you know. We didn't have no electricity when I was growing up. We used coal oil lamps, and we cooked on a wood stove. Me and my mother worked on a washboard.
Relationship or friends, like I said, I'd rather have just raised my friend just to have money. Friends is worth more than money, really. If you got
Jug and Jesse were boyhood friends in Morley, Tennessee, a mining town in those days. Many mining companies in Appalachia built camps, much like small towns, that were both the lifeblood of the area and a provision that left no way out for most miners and their families.
There were 600 families in the camp. They was at least that, wasn't it, Jug?
Yeah, or more. And then the company had, they had houses.
They charged you rent. Everything was company.
It was company.
See, like when up in that camp where I told you all them houses was, all those houses belonged to the camp. And the camp all belonged to the mines. So they charged you rent. Then they paid you money that you had to spend in their store. You know, so when you got done, you just working in a circle. There was no end to it. It's all that was available. You didn't have a choice. It wasn't as if, well, I ain't gonna work in here no more, I'll go. If you quit that coal mine, you went to another, and it was just like the one you just quit, so there wasn't a whole lot of difference.
I got about 13 and a half years, I guess, in mine. And we wasn't making no money.
About 30 years ago, coal mines in rural Appalachia began shutting down. People lost their jobs. And what was already a hard way of life became even harder. As years went by and no new industries came into the area, people lost hope that things would ever get better.
There's not a house in there now. There's not a house up there.
The older guys, they'd probably be the last ones to leave.
Yeah.
And when they'd leave, they tear it down, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing left.
Well, I'll say, first of all, I'm a learner about this culture and always will be. But I see a number of great qualities that are more or less held down by the culture. The people are musicians, they're craftsmen, they're artists, poets. They are very generous. And I would say another part of the culture that's interesting to me, and I'm trying to learn how to work within it, is a fatalistic attitude towards life that things are predetermined or preset. I'm poor, and you and my family has been poor, and we're always going to be poor. And the cycle tends to continue down rather than on a level. And so generation to generation, things seem to be sinking. So we hope to make some differences in that. And bringing people in from outside, they bring with them a whole host of options, of information, of perspectives, and attitudes. And so people here are exposed, rub shoulders with those folks for a few days, and they gather, they gain from that. It at least gives them another option to work with rather than just what they have seen all their life.
I don't know. That would be.
In the spring of 2004, 20 volunteers representing all the Life Touch divisions traveled to an area near Jellicoe, Tennessee on a memory mission. The project was led by World Servants, a nonprofit organization that sponsors short-term humanitarian missions. In Jellicoe and nearby communities, World Servants works in partnership with Good Soil Ministries. What the volunteers were about to encounter would overwhelm some of them, and they'd have to draw on each other's strengths.
This is my first time away from family, though, like all by myself. When we first visited the homes, it did overtake me. I was thinking, these people, have to be in this situation, and I was like, but it could be me, so it overtook me. I cried, and I thought about it all night long, and I thought about times when I wasn't grateful.
I was just glad to be a part of this experience, I feel blessed in being here, going through tragedies in my life. I could relate to what they were going through, and it just kind of brought it home, it's like, okay, I'm blessed from what I have now, but I'm even more blessed and able to help.
It's just been really neat to be able to get away from our world, our lives and what we call our stresses, and really just focus on other people, because I think that's when you learn about yourself the most.
Is that cool?
As the volunteers settled into their new environment, they formed 3 teams. Each team assigned to a family whose home needed repair. But building projects were not the main goal. They were an opportunity to spend time with the families, listen to their stories, not just for information, but to understand their feelings, build relationships, and offer encouragement.
If the gutter is nailed to the top here, we're going to have a drop.
Our group was assigned to the home of Bobby Sue Boyce, who lives back in a holler, or a hollow, but they call it a holler. It's a valley in the mountain that the family owns and lives in. And their family has lived there for generations since the Civil War. They lived in a cabin that didn't have any running water. It had electricity, but they needed water, and so our job was to install a water system that collected rainwater in a cistern, and we attached a solar heating device and piped the water into the house so that they could have a supply of running water.
Life here is not a life that I wish on anybody, and at the same time, it's not a life that I think anyone that lived it could give up.
Back in the holler where Bobby Sue lives, there are no conveniences. The project is hard work for the volunteers, but their spirits are high, and they give it their all.
80 pounds of pure brute power straight.
Well, Bobby has a wonderful talent, and that is she's a poet, and her poetry tells the story of her life. It's all autobiographical.
The first night we got there, Steve Meeks came out and he read
Bobby Sue's poem, Bait and Choices. That particular one meant so much to her and really described how she felt about life and about core values and about her situation in particular.
If you're a typical 13-year-old boy, your bedroom is your favorite hangout. There are posters of your heroes on the wall, and you invite your buddies here to play video games. But if you're a 13-year-old Condi Bell, your room is a stark place. There are holes in the walls, your window doesn't open, and you can hardly move around because there's stuff everywhere.
We went in there and we said, okay, Condi, what do you want to keep and what do you want to get rid of? And we put what he wanted to keep in one place and we got rid of what he wanted to get rid of.
Until now, Condi had only thought of Life Touch as the people who took his school pictures. And just outside his bedroom, his class picture is proudly displayed on the wall. Now, volunteers from Life Touch had come to his home. They were spending time working side by side with him to transform his bedroom. Very quickly, generation gaps and cultural differences disappeared. Condi and the volunteers were becoming friends.
Okay, y'all want to send me the chalk line? See, it's sitting there.
You can look it up right here and just kind of snip.
All right, now you got us a line to cut by. Just go straight down that blue line. That's what we gotta get new. She hadn't done it. It's the outside of the door.
Condi couldn't wait to show off his new room.
Now, close your eyes.
My eyes are closed. Oh no.
Open your eyes.
Wow. Who did this?
The workers.
The workers?
And me.
And you, that's good. You helped.
I helped put the drywall up and I painted on this wall a little bit. But my favorite part about the room that's improved, there used to be a big old hole right here.
Not there anymore.
Nope. You see that sign right there? I painted my name on it and I put the dots. I like it. We're making improvements.
After working on building projects all day, the volunteers took on a more familiar role at night: photography. Over the course of 3 evenings, 80 families came to the community center to have their pictures taken. This would be the first professional portraits for many of them.
Good job. Eyes right here. Nice smile. Good job. Thanks.
Old-timers smiled. Little tots grinned. Teenagers had fun. And moms and dads beamed with pride. They were excited about the gift of portraits and the memory book they would receive.
First pictures we've ever had made together.
Oh, we handed out the portraits, and some of the looks on their faces and some of the stories. I mean, one lady came in and she said that she hadn't had any pictures of her little, I think he was like 1.5, her son, and she was just, she was clapping and and so I don't think that one person left without a smile on their face.
Realizing that not everyone would be able to make it to the community center to be photographed, the volunteers took candid pictures throughout the week. A sweet little lady called Sis was photographed at home when the volunteers were there to dig a trench and bring running water into her trailer.
Well, I brought something for you.
You did?
Yeah, look here. Who's that pretty woman?
That's me.
So I brought you a copy of that picture, and then there's you and me together.
Well, yeah, that's pretty.
That's a beautiful picture of you.
Yeah, that's pretty of you too.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
You're so sweet.
I can keep them.
You can keep them.
Well,
they're for you.
Well, I thank you for them.
You're welcome.
And we've got 2 8x10s for you, and then the 2 5x7 to give to your family and friends. Yes, you can. Want one? I would love one.
Hold this for me.
The week flies by. It's the last day of the memory mission, and a Life Touch team has just finished putting a new roof on Jesse's trailer. Now he can rent it and use the income to help cover the cost of running the Morley store and the soft drinks he often gives away.
It's just the only place around. Just a place to meet, have something to drink, sit around and talk to somebody you hadn't talked to in a day or two. Just like a gathering place. You just build relationships, I guess, friendship.
As we've been watching what you guys have been doing here, we realized that this is a meeting place. It's a place where people get together. And so our team wanted to go together and get you something that could help you with being a meeting place. So on behalf of our team,
all right,
there's a new bench for your out in front of your store there.
Man, thanks. That's beautiful. That is really beautiful. Thank you all. Thank you. Yes, come on. That'll be fine.
On the count of one.
This is my visitor all the time. Me and George, we talk every day.
I just want to say thanks for giving us a piece of your heart.
So you gonna miss us when we're gone?
You ain't kidding.
Been here a whole week.
All week. All week.
So what would you want us to take away from this?
That's a hard question. Just friendship.
People from very different worlds spend 1 week together. In that short time, they learn from each other, and nothing will ever be quite the same.
It's definitely gonna change my work style and my lifestyle just all around. It's changed me, so it's gonna change everything I do, everything I look at. Probably be a little bit more patient, a little bit more open-minded to why people are the way they are. Not so quick to judge. I saw Chastity playing with the camera and doing things, and somebody said, "You make a great photographer." I'm going to tell you that went in, and it's in her mind now. I could, if I ever wanted to, I could make a great photographer. Complimenting the character is key, and you all have done a lot of that.
It's going to be hard to leave. Nobody really, we want to go home, but we want to bring home back here, I think, and it's going to be very difficult to leave. It's going to be very hard to say goodbye. They're like family now,
I'd just like to come back and see how they're doing. I'm ready to go home, but yet I don't want to leave. I've enjoyed what I've done and the people I've met.
I want to go back and help other people back home, because there's still some people back home that live like this in different areas. Even volunteer at the hospital, whatever I can do to help other people.
5 days is a lot of work, and I'd like to come back, or at least take what I've learned through the training and everything back to my area and include it, let it be part of my district. Either by having studio teams do things or just as a group.
People like Bobby Sue and like Jesse Anderson and Condi, they have enriched my life so much. They really have made me the person that I am today, because all of them have taught me something about myself and about the way that I should treat people, and they've taught me how to love.
People are still basically the same, no matter where they're from. We all still are imperfect, and we all still want to be better, and we all still love each other.
Fate and choices. Which plays the greater role in life? In day-to-day moments and at each of life's crossroads, fate may dictate events, but can fate rule the heart? How we respond to what fate sends our way is always a matter of choice.
Fate and Choices by Bobby Sue Boys, White Oak, Tennessee. Some say fate decides the future in spite of everything we say or do. Others say free choice decides what's true, and we can change our future too. But I believe there's more than I can see as I look back over my life in the past. Fate and choice decide our destiny and take us through our life at last. Like a vapor, time passes swiftly by as we learn about life each day. Sometimes fate leaves us to question why, while choices leave more to repay. Fate places us where we are in time, and fate determines who is there, but choices we make are yours and mine, and they always show how much we care. So, I cannot change the hand of fate when the sins of the fathers visit me. But I can choose to open or close the gate that locks me in or sets me free.